Hello. Now, I've done a couple of videos where I talked about video games that I tried to make as a kid, where I, showed you the pictures that I drew and stuff back then. With those two videos, I focused mainly on two games, so I thought this time I'm gonna go through, a bunch of ones. Most of these are pretty brief. Now, I know with these videos, a lot of you guys said, oh, I used to do the same thing when I was a kid, but how many of you did this? There were times when I had a dream where I was playing a game and then I woke up and it was like, oh, it was just a dream, it wasn't a real game. There was one time, I had to be in second, maybe third grade, and in a dream that I was playing a beat-em-up in an arcade where you played as cat people, which I don't really remember too much about it back then other than the fact that it was a beat-em-up, and then there was two characters that I remember. One was both these, it was a male and a female cat. Both of them wore all black. One of them was like a ninja or something. He had a Native American headdress. And the other one was like a punk girl who, she had Bebop's hair from the original, the 87 Ninja Turtles cartoon series, except that it was a lot longer and it was different shades of purple. But I was like, I'm making this into a game when I woke up. So, here it is. This would have been the title card. It was called Animal Wars. I guess this was going to be the last boss, a bull with magic or something. There's the cat guy with the Native American headdress. These names are terrible. Killer Cat. Wow. Catchy, but terrible. Turn the page here. And we have Scar Cat. Sounds like some 90s, I don't know, muscle cat, because a lot of beat-em-ups, you always had a big guy, muscle guy, whatever. Robo-Cat, yeah, whose hair is bigger than his head. Because the whole Robo thing hadn't been done to death, although this was the mid-90s. Mutant Cat, which I spelled wrong because I was little, and then there's the female one, Beautiful Cat. Wow, it's more of I don't know. Oops, skip too many pages here. Then we have This was kind of like how in Streets of Rage 3 or Peacekeepers, how you can find a playable character through the game or something. That's what this guy was. It was Dino, something, some dinosaur guy. These were some of the levels. There was a prehistoric forest, a castle, some kind of I don't know, genetics lab or something. Oh, sorry if you can't see that. And I think I got that idea from, yeah, but it has some place for a swamp where you fight mud people. And I remember the idea I had with the castle was that the boss was going to be a possum knight. Rocket Knight Adventures? Sparkster? Here's ones that really go back. I think these were before that one. Hence the bad spelling. I think this was going to be kind of like Golden Axe. The Legend, which I spelled wrong. So we have this knight guy, some, I don't know, Squire girl, a lizard guy, of course. I had an obsession with lizards and kids when I was a kid. Some elf guy or Robin Hood guy or something. Some archer girl and some pink knight or something. I have no idea. And then, I never drew any of the enemies, but I drew some of the bosses. So there was a giant scorpion. If you can see that better. There we go. I think this was a samurai or something. And then there was a bear. Come on. Some other lizard thing, and then I guess that was the last boss. And then I think this is, yep, this was another one that was going to be kind of like Contra, because I loved Contra 3 when I was a kid. I played the crap out of that. I think this was the main guy. This was some, I don't know, space pilot guy. Another lizard guy, a robot, and a cat girl. These are just some enemies. I think this was a boss, actually. Remember this guy, the blue robot with the one eye. Get the page to turn. Some more bosses and stuff, I think. Bosses, enemies. And I spelled crawler wrong. These are some of the levels. I remember one of them was going to be like in space or something. Then, or there was a couple that are in space. And then it was going to be like a level like in Contra 3 where you you have this. You're on like a hover bike and this thing goes over you. But then I was going to have the idea that it was like the level after it. You go on is on top, and then you go inside of it, and then you fight like in the cockpit or something. Which yeah. Because that wasn't done in Contra, so I thought that was kind of a cool idea. This was the last level. I think what those little... These were like just supposed to be like enemies teleporting in. Then there's like spike traps coming down, guns and stuff. This one looks like a chandelier. Then you go through different doors and fight like bosses and stuff. And then... I think I kind of got that from Metroid, the idea for that. Get this page to turn. There we go. So this was the last room, and then this giant blue brick thing would explode, and you fight this guy who's going to be the last boss. Then... wait for it. I think these are a couple more bosses. So, this one? No, it's right here. This was one that I worked on. These next ones I worked on kind of later in life, like in the late 90s, basically. Late 90s and the other... well, yeah. I think this game was going to be kind of like Resident Evil or something like that, except that it was... well, instead of horror, it was more sci-fi. You go to, like... I don't even remember what the hell the plot was. It was like... I don't know, I think you went to some, like, facility to fight, like, mad scientists or something like that. But, this was the character you played as, some army guy, Kyle. Oh, it's Rambo, basically. Literally. That is literally Rambo. This was one of your comrades, I guess, Sarah. Because, you know, like in Resident Evil, you have, like, people that fight alongside you. Help you and whatnot. That was another guy, Leon. Or, Casey Jones. I never really drew too many enemies in this. Well, there's a couple. It's like mutants or something that you fight. Actually, I remember I had it planned out that that Fang thing, one of those things, was actually going to kill Leon, like, during the game. I drew some of the bosses. There was, like, this guy, some, like, I don't know, mutant smurf or something. Then you when you you defeat him, and then he goes into, like, this giant robot mech thing, which I actually ripped off from, like, an old toy that I had. Anybody remember War Planets from the late 90s? That's pretty much what I got that from. That was actually a pretty cool toy line, War Planets. I had my brother and I had a bunch of them. Oh, I gotta come back to that guy. This was some other boss, some, like, fire guy or something, I don't know. And then this, the reason this is loose is because it was in another notebook that my brother had drawn. I was like, oh my god, I'm using this for this. And what it was this was a boss that, after you beat him, he just, like, shuts down. And then at the end, when the facility is going to explode, you're being pursued by this giant Ed 209, like, robot. And then whatever, cuts off your exit. And this comes back to help you and, like, holds them off so you can escape. At least that was going to be the plan. Like I said, this was just, like, an idea that came out of nowhere. Most of these were, really. For this next one, couple of things. This is the only one that's not in a notebook. And it was going to be kind of like the Bloody Roar games, which were a series of fighting games where you could turn into animals, or animal people. And a couple of things was... there was... To my knowledge, there was two Bloody Roar games for the PS1, one for the GameCube, and I think there was like one or two more that I had never played. Well, I never played the GameCube either. But at the time, I was only familiar with the first two games, and I was, for the most part, I was trying to do like animals that weren't necessarily dumb. A couple of these were, but maybe like with the later games, but whatever. And the other thing is, for some reason, I labeled these good guys, bad guys. I don't know why. So anyway, we have, and I didn't draw all their beast forms either. We have Bobby, who is like the main guy. That's it kind of looks like Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon. I think his beast form was going to be a Siberian Husky. Then we have Kristen, who turns into a cheetah. Al, who turns into a panther, and I guess I put myself into the game for one reason or another, and I turn into a lizard, of course. Then we have Mimi, who turns into a crayfish. I had messed up because, like, if you ever played the Bloody Roar games, when you morph into the animals, it's like you have your clothes still on, but it's like ripped and everything. Which I did, as you can see, I did that with a lot of these characters, but for her, I messed up and forgot to. And I was like, oh crap, I forgot to give her. And I was like, I'll just give her like a bikini or something. And we have Snake, some like Egyptian guy or ancient Egyptian guy who turns into a snake. Greg, I think that was his name, who turns into a bear. Never drew it. And then Rocky, who turns into a rhino. Oh, Rocky, Rocksteady, rhino. Yeah. Oh, no, wait. Oh, whoops, wrong page. That's Clint, who actually turns into a coyote. These next 8 characters were secret characters. We have Slade, who turns into a mantis. What the hell was his name? Oh, Brian, some, like, cop guy who turns into a, I think he was going to turn into an eagle. What was her name? Casey, who turns into a bat, which, that was done in the second game, but I don't really like the way they did her. And then Quint, who turns into a armadillo, I think. Yeah, because I pretty much just ripped him off from the mole guy from those games. Okay, now. I thought this was kind of a cool idea. I think some of these were cool, because a lot of them I don't think were done, but we have Clint, who turns into a scorpion. Jane, who never drew her beast form, but she was going to turn into a lioness. There's Greg, who would turn into the bear. Like I said, I got them mixed up back there. And finally, we have Chameleon, who turns into a chameleon, which that actually was done in the second game, but there was a guy who turned into a chameleon. But I thought what would be a cool idea was if it was a guy kind of like Shang Tsung, because the chameleon guy, when he was in the chameleon form, he could turn he could turn invisible. Now we're on the subject of fighting games. There was a medieval fighting game called Mace for the N64. I actually have it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's really aged well, in my opinion, but I remember my brother rented that back in, like, 99, maybe, and I loved it back then. I was like, oh, I'm making a game like this. So I did, with this old Space Jam notebook. Still got the sticker on the back. Remember Caldor? Talk about a throwback. Well, this would have been the cover art. Warriors. Here's the main character. Oh, he reminds me of someone. Oh yeah, it's Hercules. Remember the old Hercules live-action series that was on the Sci-Fi Channel? Hercules, Xena, Sinbad. Wow. That's literally Hercules. Some Mace, who's some knight guy, with Scorpion's colors, black and yellow. I'm missing a page yet. This notebook's so old and the pages keep sticking together. A blade, some, I don't know, ninja knight guy or something. What a surprise! Another lizard man. Cleo, some like warrior woman or something, I guess. Maybe like kind of like Xena or something, I don't know. Although Xena wore more armor. There's the orc guy that was on the cover. An orc. Well, that's original. So these two were like skeleton knight guys. Sword, and then there was sickle, which I pretty much copied them from Dungeons and Dragons. I think it was Dungeons and Dragons Revenge of Death Adder. It was the only one that was exclusive to the arcade. It was never released on any of the Sega consoles or anything. Now these next two, which are going to be the last ones, I actually did these when I was in high school. And, when I was kind of fizzling out from this. The first one was going to be like Pocky and Rocky, which, God, at the time I hadn't played that game in over 10 years. So instead of, it was going to be like the second one where you start off with the two of them, and then you find other characters, that are become playable. So instead, taking the place of Pocky was Tracy. Wow, I guess I used a lot of the same names over again. It was some Native American girl. She uses a bow and arrow. And then taking the place of Rocky the Raccoon was AC, a cat who throws dodgeballs. Yeah, because that would kill a monster or something. Oh, God. And then the characters that you find were... Really? There's the name Kyle again, who throws shuriken. Is a ninja guy. Mr. Mud, who shoots out mud balls. Iguana guy, of course, named Shed. He looks familiar too. Oh yeah, he was a Battle Beast. Anybody remember Battle Beast? Toy line from the toy line came out when I was born, but my brother, my cousin had a bunch of them. So that's literally what that is. Who has a gun? And then we have Junkyard, a robot made out of different appliances and stuff. Who his chest is a CD player that shoots out CDs. And these were characters that you met throughout the game. We have Glenn, some some electronics kid or something. He was actually, who has a bunch of other robots here, as you can see. And that was actually where you find Junkyard was one of his. I actually really like the idea I came up with this one. He has a Super Nintendo for a head. Oh, man. Jed, some knight, Sid, and Bobby again, some army guy, I guess. Some more characters. Scott, who it was either a wolf or a fox. I think he was a fox. Imp, some creature thing. Kent and Mimi. What a surprise! And use that same name again because she. I think they were like siblings. They were mages or something. Fishman, some Fishman guy, and Doug. These were some of the bosses. First we have Krang. Nah, I'm just kidding, but that's what my brother said it looked like. Some giant jellyfish guy, Jellyfish King. Some demonic-looking ventriloquist dummy. Slappy, Goosebumps, although it doesn't really... Although I don't think Slappy was that terrifying. Some, like, demon samurai or something. And there was some dragoon guy, a golem, and some arachnid creature, which... That was actually, I don't remember how many of you remember Tech Deck creatures, but that's... that was like a toy line in like the mid-2000s. Well, there was Tech Deck dudes and then there was Tech Deck creatures. That's literally what I ripped that off of. So then the last one, I still think this would be an awesome game. This was going to be like Dungeons & Dragons, the arcade game, because I loved that game as a kid. Actually, I still love that game. But it was going to be like you could make your own characters. So here are some of the races. Like, well, you have human, obviously. Elves and dwarves, of course. These were just kind of like template designs for them. Centaurs, Salamandro or something, some kind of salamander creature. Demonoid or something, which is like a kind of like Spawn. Falcons, which are like bird people, and that was, I don't know, some idea that I like scrapped or something. It was gonna be like mermaids or something. I don't know. It was gonna be like I don't know. And then it was gonna be like Golden Axe, where everyone has like a move that will clear all the enemies on the screen. So the human would create a meteor shower. The salamander created like an acid rain. I didn't draw all of them, but then the centaur summoned Ares, the god of war, and then it just created like a big like epic scale battle that like they ran through each other, like killing each other, and everything in between. And the demonoid guy, like, summoned demons from hell to, like, pull your enemies down to hell. And everyone had a projectile weapon. Humans, had rings that would shoot fireballs, so you could, like, pick the color. The salamanders would spit acid, kind of like reptile. You could pick the color. And then the elves had bow and arrows. You could pick different ones and the color of the feathers. Never picked. Dwarves had throwing axes. And the demonoids had like a... I think there's actually a different name for this. I've drawn a blank on the name. But it's like one of those things that's like a blade on a chain or something. Or sickle, whatever. These were the different type of weapons, which you could give them anything you wanted. Yeah, so average sword, katana, broadsword, falchion, cutlass, spears, tried the pitchfork. I didn't draw all of them, but different types of axes. Those was going to be like maces and other blunt instruments like hammers and stuff. I never got on to drawing them all. Didn't get to drawing the claws either. Whether there was lances. Like I thought this was going to be a cool idea. It was right here. I called this the flame lance, which had like flame designs on it. And it was going to be like that. If you did a charge attack with it, it would have like that fire coming out or something. But yeah, like I said, I still think this would be a cool idea for a game, like a beat 'em up where you could make your own characters. So those are a bunch more of the games I tried to make when I was a kid and a teenager and stuff. I guess that's about it, everyone. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.